Okay, welcome back to another Scratch tutorial. Welcome back to Scratch tutorial. This is the first one. I'm going to be teaching how to how to code in Scratch using its little block codes that are really cool looking. But we first have to start with a thing. First, you'll probably have a cat here. I'm just gonna go choose I'm actually gonna go paint a sprite. This is gonna be a square. This will be my square I'm gonna be using. First, we're gonna be learning about the move. We'll be learning about how to use all the motion blocks. First, let's start with a motion block. The move 10 steps. It won't run when you play the game, but if you click on the motion step, it moves it 10 steps. And we can move that back and move it 10 steps. This is my little cube. And if you want to pick out a sprite, there's many sprites. I'm going to replace mine with the squirrel. Hi, little squirrel. So now I have a squirrel. Now I can either paint one or choose one. I'm gonna choose this blue sky. And now we have a squirrel, the blue sky. And now we can also learn about the turn block. This literally just turns it when you click on it. So let's just turn it back to normal. Now we can also turn it the other way with this block. And if you want to turn it the opposite way, you just use minus numbers. Negative numbers does the opposite. And you can change this back to normal numbers or negative numbers to do the opposite effect. And it applies the same with the move steps. This moves it this way, but if we want to move it back, we do the minus 10, moves it back this way. Then then the go to random position. This moves to a random position when you click on it, which is really cool stuff you can do with this. And then we can remove it. Then the go to block, it takes an X position and a Y position. The X position is left and right, while the Y is up and down. So if we do this 0, we'll center it to the middle of the screen. We click this, it's in the middle of the screen. And we move it up. If we move the Y position up to 150 or something, when we click on it, it goes up. We can also use minus numbers to change the Y position, and we can set it back. And we can also do the X position too, the left and right position. And we click on it, boom. We can also use minus numbers for that. 150 minus 150. And I'll move this to the minus. And these are some cool blocks. Now we can also use the glide to random position. This glides to a random position. We can also make it glide to the mouse pointer. And we can do the same thing with the go to. We can also go to mouse pointer. But the glide effect is much really cool looking. Most people don't like using this. but I like using it personally. Then we can also give it one of these values. So I'm gonna go make it glide to 0, 0. Then it'll glide to the middle of the screen. And we can do all the same things with the go-to block. We can change the amount of seconds it glides. This glides 1 second to the random position. What about 3 seconds? It'll take 3 seconds to go to that random position. And if we make it take 3 seconds to go to the middle of the screen, it's much slower than if we made it go 1 second to the middle of the screen. And then we can use point direction. So if we can change this using this. I'm gonna do to 90, which it already is pointed to 90. If we change this to like 180, when we click on it, it turns down. And we can change it back to 90 to move it back like this. I like the squirrel head. And we can also use point towards mouse pointer. If we move our mouse pointer, it points towards that. And then we can also use the change X, and if we press on it, it changes the X. It moves it right. And if we use minus numbers, it moves it left. And if we use the set X, we can set the X to a position. If we do 0, it'll set the X position to 0, the left and right to 0. Boom. And we click on it. Then you can also use the change Y. If you use normal numbers, it goes up. If you use minus numbers, it goes down. And we can also set the Y. And if we set it to 0, it sets it to the middle of the screen. And we can also do the if on edge bounce. So if we put it onto the edge, it bounces, kind of bounces. Move it onto the edge. If on the edge bounce, it bounces it out, which can be useful for other things. And we can do rotation star left and right. And now we can change it to all around. So if now it's all around. So if we get rotate, so if we just rotate, the all around it's much more fun, while the left and right is left and right. And I don't know what I just did. You can change the left and right, or you can don't rotate. Then we have this. So we can move X position steps. And if we set it, if the X position is 0, it won't move. If we do it to like 10, it'll move the X position by 10 until it reaches 0. Because when it's 0, it's moving nothing. Do 100. It keeps moving until it's 0. We can also do Y position to continue going off and stuff. And we can also use direction. It's like, oh, it disappeared. I'm just gonna set to 0. Oh, I can see it's here, 0. Then we can turn by direction. Right now, its direction is minus this, so it'll continue turning the minus until eventually. It'll keep turning until it reaches 0. You can just turn the direction amount and stuff. That's all the movement blocks explained. I hope this helped a lot with other stuff. Next is gonna be the looks. And the looks have a lot of stuff to them. So that's it. Goodbye.